Hello and welcome to vlog number 6, where I'm going to talk about dopamine dips and how I just got myself out of one very recently. So what is a dopamine dip? Well, for the hard neuroscience, you can go over to who I learned it from, and that's Andrew Huberman, Dr. Andrew Huberman, who does some amazing content on all things neuroscience and behavioral. I can really recommend. And that's where I got this notion from that is probably what's happening. I started to think in these terms of how's my dopamine level? What am I doing with my dopamine through the various actions that I take and behaviors I engage in my daily life, and relating that to things I already knew about biochemistry and habits and things like that. By the way, I'm sitting on a cool spinny chair, very typically of me. Yeah, and so I realized the past 2-3 days, okay, I'm at a real low because nothing is fun anymore, nothing is interesting. I had like zero motivation, low energy, and it just wouldn't go away. I was trying all the things that I normally do, that normally keep me on a pretty good high, and they just weren't working anymore. I was like, well, crap, something's really derailed right now. And I guess in retrospect, the main factor was probably, as so often, sleep deprivation and a lack of nutrients, because I had not taken my supplements for like 2 days, while also eating pretty poorly. And that's a terrible combination. Like, if you're going to eat poorly, take supplements. If you don't want to take supplements, you have to eat really well. And yeah, I mean, the sleep deprivation is the constant struggle of people wanting to achieve a lot in our system and economy, with bodies that are only human and are not designed for this kind of pressure and performance. But anyway, that's a whole other topic. If you're interested in that, read Matthew Walker's Why We Sleep for a good introduction. Yeah, but what it felt like was the closest thing I know now to deep depression, which is, as I said, nothing is appealing in the slightest anymore, low energy, and that also starts to feed into your loop of thoughts and emotions, which is where it gets really dangerous, because during those 2 days, I once again played with the thought. It's kind of like my self-test, which is, okay, let me just explain. So I disagree with suicide. Suicide is something that I would never do. But as one therapist very accurately pointed out, for people in a hopeless situation, or what feels like a really hopeless situation with a lot of despair, a lot of difficulty, it is actually a very sensible, logical coping mechanism. It's a sign of an intelligent person looking for ways out, looking for alternatives, looking for ways that they can exert control on their own life. In some cases, that's just, do not apply this to yourself. If you're in that place, get therapy. There's no other right thing to do, okay? But yeah, for me, that was the case. And so I realized the very few times in my life where I have ever actually felt suicidal, when I was in such a state of just depletion, just a combination of really bad factors all coming together. And so it's kind of become like this little test that I do to think, okay, how does the theoretical concept of suicide feel emotionally right now, and try to just bring those 2 points together. And if I can feel it, then I'm in a really bad state. Then I need to change my state. And I only do that because I know that I'm safe. I know that I'm good, that it's not going to happen. I'm not going to go there. But yeah, so mostly I can just think and talk about death like any other intellectual, and I won't feel that kind of thing. And it wouldn't even occur to me. And even when I can be in pretty bad states, I'll still think about it and be like, oh no, man, that's way exaggerated. There's nothing to do with this. Yeah. And so recently I passed the test. I was like, okay, it's that bad. And the funny thing is that the solution was nothing major. It was nothing complex. It was nothing extraordinary or secret. It was simply writing it out. Because that's the thing with dopamine. You need to reset it. That's the thing with sleep deprivation. You just need to catch up on your hours. That's the thing with a built-up malnutrition. You just have to compensate it and wait for it to be soaked in at all levels and go to where it needs to go. And so I guess the main moral of this whole video is keep checking in with yourself. Hold on to that superior rational voice that really knows what's best for you, in spite of how you might be feeling at any moment. That's what I mean when I use my catchphrase of rise above. You know, always seek that voice of clarity, which is within you, and act based on that. Yeah, question all negative voices, all negative instincts, impulses, and just, as we say in music, hold on to the line. Doesn't matter how many mistakes you make along a performance, if you hold on to the line, hold on to the melody, the emotion, the rhythm, the whole story, you'll be fine, you'll be good. Yeah, and then also be patient and be kind to yourself. And I'm becoming more and more aware of how universal it is, that a lot of things are way simpler than we think. A lot of processes just compound over time. That's one of the things you hear a lot, for example, in a business context, when talking about building passive income, building business, generating wealth over time. It's just everything is compound interest. And people keep quoting Einstein. And so like, yeah, it's one of the wonders of the world. And that applies to so many things of our life, so many aspects of our life, sorry, that we don't even realize because our perception is so momentary. We're perceiving maybe from yesterday till tomorrow, and that's it. Everything else escapes our understanding, but that's where the pattern takes shape. Yeah. So when you set up systems for yourself, ways in which you work and live and eat and socialize and everything, make sure that they're tailored to this larger curve. And as you do your little check-ins with your spikes of momentary consciousness, make sure that they also cater the larger curve. And so I could feel this coming on about a week ago. I thought, okay, now I have to be really careful. And then I started to make some changes that were actually making things worse. And I didn't realize that until it started to get really bad. And so you have to be this constant analysis and this constant development of self-expertise, basically. And that's why I think self-aware people and people who are on this journey for more fulfillment and happiness and development and contribution, we'll tend to be interested in a lot of different things, because you begin to see how everything just feeds into this understanding of yourself and others. You know, whether it's neuroscience or nutrition or interest rates, it all connects into this one huge thing that is life. Yeah. Once again, as I said, if you're in a dark place, please seek professional help. I hope this could help people prevent going to dark places, and maybe some of you also to get out of them on your own if you're able to do that. But if you're not, that's fine. Just get help. Can't stress that enough. I think that's about it. Finally managed to make a slightly shorter video. Yes. Thanks so much for sticking around. I'll see you in the next one. Take care.